David Penn spends an inordinate amount of time to create a great product for a musical person to look at and understand the inner components of a record that communicates with a large number of people. So I'm going to hand it over to David, and let's take a look at Hit Songs Deconstructed from the man that actually invented it. Everyone, David Penn.
Thank you, Chris Charles. Best intro ever. So, first report we're going to look at is our Hit Song Deconstructed report. This is basically our flagship report. And this report provides a detailed, comprehensive deconstruction of a song currently topping the charts. And the objective is to provide songwriters and producers with insight into the techniques that today's hit makers are utilizing to prime their songs for maximum success. The criteria for a Hit Songs Deconstructed report, there's 3 of them. Number 1, it has to have reached the top of the charts. It's got to be very successful. It has to offer a wealth of hit songwriting techniques from which to learn. Not all of them do. And finally, when possible, we just try to give a very good cross-section of different types of songs and genres so you get a very good look at all the different things going on within the top 10. So let's get into some of the highlights here, like some examples of really clever elements and things that put the song over the top. So number 1, clever vibe shifts. So Can't Feel My Face has 2 disparate vibes throughout the song. Vibe number 1 is this in the ether, kind of hazy kind of vibe. And vibe number 2 is R&B soul, funk, Michael Jackson influences. And the way that these 2 disparate vibes intermingle throughout the song is very clever. And what's even more clever is that the elements that put these vibes into effect actually reverse as the song progresses. So for example, let's look at the first 4 sections of the song. So the intro, verse, and pre-chorus. The vocal has vibe number 2. It has that Michael Jackson funky R&B soul kind of quality to it. The backing music, though, has this hazy synth soundscape. So that's where you get that in the ether haze kind of vibe being put in effect. So let's listen to an example from the pre-chorus here. So, hazy backing music, funky Michael Jackson vocal. Now, when we get to the chorus, the elements that put those 2 vibes into effect reverse. So the vocal now shifts to vibe 1. It takes on more of a hazy kind of drug in the ether kind of quality, and the backing music shifts to driving, grooving R&B kind of funk. So let's take a listen to that. And listen, while we go through this, listen to the manner in which he says you. He goes up in register, it's almost like a blue note, and it really puts that hazy kind of quality into effect. Check this out. That totally gives it that hazy kind of vibe. So the way that these 2 vibes change up and interact through the song really provides it with a unique identity and really maximizes its impact. Next, chorus impact accentuation. So the vocal melody that we just heard repeats in the same manner in choruses 2 and 3, which are double the length of the first verse. In order to keep choruses 2 and 3 engaging, because you don't want to just carry on with the same backing music and the same lyrics and the same vocal melody throughout the whole section, you got to introduce some kind of new element to really capture the listener's attention. So this vocal overlay is put into effect, which features the same lyrics as the primary lead vocal, but the vocal melody is changed up, it has a harmony, and the characteristics of it are changed up as well. It switches over to this Michael Jackson type of quality, which provides very infectious counter to the hazy and the ether kind of vibe in the lead vocal. So let's listen and you'll get it when you hear it. So here's the primary lead. Now the vocal overlay. Same lyrics. They both lock in perfectly, and it takes the overall impact of the section to the next level. Without that thing, it would just be a little bit too repetitive. Bridge surrogate. So Can't Feel My Face does not contain a bridge in its framework. Instead, it goes into a 3rd pre-chorus, which is very rare in the mainstream. Most mainstream hits have 2 pre-choruses in their framework. This one has a 3rd. And what it's going to do is revert back to that in the ether vibe that defines the first 3 sections of the song and provide really infectious and very stringent contrast relative to the driving, grooving funk that defines the first chorus, the second verse, the second pre-chorus, the second chorus, the third chorus, and the outro. Without this stringent departure over here, the song is just going to be too monotonous. And additionally, it just goes to show you don't have to start with a whole entire new section like a bridge and think of like new lyrics to include a whole melody and shift everything. No, just recycle an old section. Throw another pre-chorus in there and just shift the energy level and the vibe of the song. So let's take a listen here. So chorus. Now big shift. Back into the ether. Breaks up that flow. Very hazy vocals as well. But now look what happens in the second half of the section. Michael Jackson is reintroduced. So it keeps everything engaging throughout. We get into that right now. Wait for it moment. So the first two pre-choruses in the song seamlessly transition into the chorus. So, for example, let's listen to an example. Now watch the transition. Very seamless. But the third pre-chorus features an extension at the end, and it creates this tension-laden wait for it moment that provides the chorus that follows with increased perceived impact when it hits as a result. It has greater tension release. So let's take a listen to the third pre-chorus transition. It's hanging, more tension, and there's a greater release at the end, so it really maximizes that impact at the last chorus. And it also throws the listener off kilter a little bit as well, so it heightens the engagement value of the song.
Same but different.
Same but different. Exactly. Well said. Well said. False sectional endings. So typically in a mainstream hit, you're going to see false song endings. You know, songs that cut off abruptly, that leave the listener hanging and wanting more. It's a psychological tool to get them to go back for another listen. In this case, we actually have false sectional endings at the end of the chorus sections. And the best example occurs at the end of chorus 3. And watch what happens. False ending there. Leaves them craving that chorus, but then it counters by going into that bass hook to ride the listener out on. And speaking of that bass hook, the synth bass hook is in effect for 65% of the song's total composition, or 2 minutes and 14 seconds. It's featured in all the choruses, verse 2, pre-chorus 2, and the outro that we just heard. And that's why you can't get it out of your head.